All right, we're back. I hope we're back. All right. Sorry about that. When your Chromebook says you have 7 minutes left, you got about 4. So, anyway, sorry about that, guys. Now, okay. We have the battery in the tester. We have cheaters on. We have, actually, I do read the instructions sometimes, so I gotta see how to hook this thing up. All right, let's see here. All right. Maintenance features. Not really the best instructions. All right. Positive, negative input jacks. What's the center jack for? CX positive, CX. They have 2 positive. Oh, okay. Max 34 volts. All right. Let me plug her in. See what we got. Back for round 2, Craigie. All right. CX positive. CX negative. We will turn it to 2. Done. Oh, it actually has a light feature. I don't know if you can see it. Ooh, you can turn a light on and off. That's pretty cool. Lit display, so if you're in the dark, it'll show you a backlight. All right. Let's try it out, guys. Hey, James, how you doing, pal? All right. So I'll assume negative is the case because usually the case is grounded to the block, so I'll assume negative is the case. So I'll put negative on there. Hold on. Stand it up. Put positive on here. And it shows. Well, I'll show you. Hold on. Since we're all trying to learn here. It shows 0.210, 0.210, so 0.210 microfarad. And according to the Briggs book, Briggs says 0.16 to 0.24. So that's good capacitor. Good to know. All right. And I've got some big ones. Let me grab them for my welding project. Here's one of the big boys I have. When you're going from DC electrode positive to DC electrode negative, it gives you less splatter in your weld, but you need these. And this one is 65 volt DC surge, 56,000 microfarads. So 56,000. Well, let's try it. Positive 56,000. So I'll put it on the, let's see. All right. So to go 56,000, I have to put on the 20 megafarad, and then it'll be a decimal because the most it goes microfarad is 2,000. So I'll go 20 megafarad. Let's see what she sees. Oh, still thinking. So in microfarad or megafarad, 55,000 should be 5.5. And it's showing like 5.48. Okay, close enough. 5.48, 55, 5.5. Okay. So I guess for $17, if you're looking for a way to check capacitors on your small engines, for $17, it's a decent deal. You know, you could it even has a hold button on it. When I get done with this, I'll leave a link. Hi, Banmel, how you doing? I'll leave a link for it. But like I said, it's just basically a capacitor tester that tests microfarad and megafarad, and actually tests picofarad too. So pico and nanofarad. Oh, it's a microfarad, nanofarad, picofarad, and megafarad. So any capacitor, basically from teeny to huge, you can check. So that's why I bought it. I bought it more for this welding project where I have these big caps. I wanted to make sure they're okay. But For those of you just joining us, I wanted to make sure that little caps that I have laying around for my small Kohler engines are good. So I set it to 2 microfarad. Positive would be the line coming out. Negative would be the case. I'll do it again for those who weren't here. And you see we get a reading of 0.21 microfarad. And you're saying, what's the significance of 0.2 microfarad? Well, according to Briggs & Stratton, it should be 0.16 to 0.24 microfarad. So, proves that the capacitors are good. I will be using that tomorrow to check all my drawer of caps. I got a whole mess of them. Because a lot of times, people don't realize when you have a bad capacitor, your points are going to start to eat away very quickly. You'll lose spark, you'll lose timing, and your engine just won't run right. You know, it's okay if you have a brand new set of points, but a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm just going to sand my points," and they're fine. And then a week later, the thing starts funny and it's backfiring or whatever, and they're all pitted because the capacitor's not doing its job. It's not taking up the extra current. It's going through the points instead. So capacitors are important, but I do recommend my old friend David Kirk. He invented something called a point saver. I think now it's called a transdenser, which is basically a solid state condenser where it uses solid state circuitry and transistors instead of a capacitor to take up the current, and it'll make it so your points last forever. So if anyone's interested in looking for one of those with a point style engine, even if it's a chainsaw, you can probably use it too, but it's called KIRK, Kirk, Dave Kirk, transdenser or point saver. You can look them up online. I'll put the links down below, but I've had a lot of luck with them in the old Kohler K series engines where I've had points in them for 20 years and they still start on the first turn. So very good product. Kirk engines. He has some other stuff too. Yeah, anything that uses a coil and points where you're amplifying the ignition and grounding them out via the points to get your secondary and your coil operating. That's same difference. The older style of engines before, I think Briggs came out with solid state in 85. Kohler came out with it, I think sometime in the 70s. But all the old engines that still use points, people don't want to worry about changing them over. I mean, personally, when it comes to chainsaws, I like the Nova 2 box. It's a little teeny electronic transistorized ignition that you put in place of the points, and it fits neatly inside a chainsaw. It's called a Nova 2. Honda makes their own little box, all different kinds. You can get them there anywhere from, I think, 10 or 12 to about $20. So it makes sense, especially when the points are a pain in the butt to get to. You put one of these modules in. They call them ignition module. Nova 2 is a big brand, but there's all different ones too. And it just, takes the place of points, and you don't have to worry about it. Who else we got here? We got Craig, got Bam, we got James. Hey, there he is. Did you end up throwing that washer out yet, Matt? I was thinking about you today. I actually have a workbench that's workable now, and stuff that's stuff that's able to be worked on. So nice having the week off. So actually, I've got another probably 4.5 weeks of vacation, but I won't use it. I'll keep it till next year. Next year's our 30th anniversary, and I'm thinking the wife wants to go to Italy, so we'll see what happens. We'll see.
Give me your credit card. I'll plan it.
Yeah. Okay. The kids are asking to go now too. Little do they know. Anyway, so now she's gonna go tell my wife. Now it's done. Anywho, keeps throwing the dry belt. Yeah, but what about the rusty tub, Matt? Are you still gonna use? I mean, I know you're not gonna use it. You're just trying to. Did you figure out what was going on with the clutch in the 2 directions? What it was? I know you said it only be in one direction. 3 bolts up through the bottom to hold it in place. Oh, no tractor. The one you fixed, the one that you worked on the engine, the last year. Yeah, which pulley? The drive belt off the engine or the drive belt off the back of the transaxle? Because I know a lot of times when the idlers, those 2 idler pulleys that put tension on it, when those are misaligned, it'll throw them as well. Or if they're too loose, sometimes the belts just get loose and they'll throw themselves off. I had a snapper mower. keeps going off the idler pulley. Is the belt stretched though? Do you know if it's stretched? Have you measured it? Because when it's but new belt is the exact same belt that it calls out, the right length or aftermarket, because people go on Amazon and buy, the equivalent, and they're not. And a half inch or 1 inch makes a difference. I just went out and spent $45 on an OEM snapper belt because the customer kept buying aftermarket belts and they never worked. It's tight. Did you get underneath there when you let off the pedal to see what it's doing? Because I know the idlers, sometimes there's a bushing in the idler pulley arm that'll cause it to cock slightly, so that when you engage it, it'll hit the rim and run right off. Look to see if you can pull that pivot arm with the idler pulleys up and down, Matt, because sometimes when you engage, if it cocks slightly, it'll ride that little rim and just run right off. So, and I've seen them where their rims have been busted too, where it just rides them off too. So do you have the kind where there's two pulleys right next to each other, where it's like an S and it works like that? Yeah. Yeah, but is it the idler itself, or is it the bushing on the idler arm causing the arm itself to flex? Because sometimes there's a brass bushing underneath that keeps it in alignment. You got to make sure you're changing the right thing. I would assume it's, you've got different types of idlers. You got plastic idlers, then you got the big steel idlers, depending on what pulley and what you're changing. Usually there are two of these underneath. Two of the plastic idlers underneath that form the deck drive. Why do I have those sitting here? I just do. Those were off John Deere tractors. Look in the parts diagram, Matt. It'll show you in a parts diagram. Sometimes it's a headed bronze bushing or something that goes underneath that, or a steel bushing sometimes. But sometimes it's it's a steel bushing. I think I have one here somewhere. Where? I did have something somewhere. Actually a headed bushing that pops into a hole in the frame, and then the shoulder bolt goes through to bolt it in. But yeah, take a look. Usually that's it. You got to make sure that the idler itself, because the idler, I'll be honest with you, these idlers, I've actually taken them and take the needle tip on a grease gun. You can get the needle tips, and I've stuck the needle tip and re-greased the bearings, and I still use them. Unless this is all broken up, I re-grease them. As long as they spin good, I don't care. It's not worth spending the money. All right, James, take care. Good seeing you, pal. Take care of yourself. A lot of times, like I said, those bearings give up the ghost because nobody greases them. There's no grease fittings on those. So, like I said, I'll go in there with a needle adapter for the grease gun. I went to Harbor Freight and I bought one of those grease gun adapter fitting kits for like $18. You get like 10 different tips that go on the grease gun. Oh, I want to show you something. I went out and I splurged because I use grease all the time. And I bought one of those lock and lubes. I recommend it to anybody. There's the standard fitting that comes on a grease gun. And I saw Zippo and a couple other guys had these on there. And I said, let me try it. This thing is the bomb. It's got jaws on it, 4 jaws that go in and out. It captures the grease fitting. It's not cheap. I think it's $30, but I tell you, when you're working on a deck or something that needs grease and you have only 2 hands, get one of these things. It's called Lock and Lube. You get it on Amazon. Sometimes they're on sale, but I think the cheapest you'll pay is $25. I think I paid $29, but I definitely recommend it because unbelievable. I had a deck I was working on, and you had to reach down. They actually sell an extended version of that Lock and Lube 2 with a 3-inch extension or 2-inch extension. Sometimes it's hard to get into the grease fittings to get there. On mine, I may just buy a 3 or 4-inch adapter and then screw that in because I already have the short one. But I tell you, it's phenomenal. I was working on that snapper walk-behind mower today, and between rods and belts was a grease fitting about 4 inches down. I couldn't reach it just like that. So I had to end up using like a pair of hemostats to clip the thing on. But I'm going to put an adapter on it to make it longer. But really, really good. I love it. Lock and Lube. But yeah, the capacitor tester, that was a good buy. For $17, I can't beat it. I still have Craigie, where is it? Optima for that 136 that's behind me. That's definitely going to get done this weekend, along with the 257 and the Tecumseh motor that's next to me. The weather's crazy. I mean, we had torrential rain last night, torrential winds today, up to 50-mile-an-hour winds. 738-0322. That's for the shoulder bolt. Oh, okay. So it's using the shoulder. It's okay. So it could be a worn out shoulder bolt. Okay. No bush. All right. So it's 738-0322. Okay. So it's probably a standard 3/8 shoulder bolt. Probably a 3/8 by 2 or something. All right. 738. That's an MTD number, if I'm not mistaken. 738. Yeah, I mean, if the bracket's worn, I mean, usually the brackets won't wear. All I'm saying is where that shoulder bolt goes, you're probably going to have a worn out bushing on the arm. It's probably a tack welded in bushing in the arm, and it's just egg shaped over time. So yeah, you're better off just get the bracket and get a new shoulder bolt. That's all. You know, if there's nothing in the frame, it's just a bolt welded to the frame, then yeah, just that'd work perfect. You know, it'll drive you nuts anyway. But something like that, type in the part number, go to Amazon, you get something in 2 days. You know, it's amazing. You pay a couple extra bucks. You know, they think Prime is a deal. No, you're paying for the Prime. I mean, if you look at the same exact item without Prime, it's usually $2-3 less because you are paying for the shipping. And now with box stores, everything's paying. You get tax, especially here in our state. So I don't think I bought anything off of Amazon in the past 6 months that I didn't have to pay tax for. So interesting. Yeah, do that, Matty. Fresh bolt bracket, you'd be like, no. And then while you got the bearings out, stick some grease in there, you know. Oh, actually, I do have the replacement drum for you. I got to mail it off to you because HL made good on it when I showed. They saw the video of when I actually put an indicator on the sprocket and the drum, and I showed how it wallowed out about 40,000. So they actually sent me one. I just didn't realize I had it. So I'll send it off to you. I owe you one from the get together. What else? What else can we talk about today? Trying to think. What did I do today? Belts. Mostly belts today. Everyone was coming over. One guy came over with a grass seeding, a reseeding machine, Clausen. You see them at Home Depot. They're red. They rent them. I recommend them. They're really cool. It actually will dig up the soil. It's got the tines like a thatcher, and you can set the depth from 0 to, I think, 2 inches. But it also has a spreader on the front of it where the wheels on the side of the spreader that turn the spreader, you lower it onto the wheels that when you push the reseeder, and it'll drop the seed as it's walking along. So it's a pretty good tool. I recommend, if you want to do seed, I mean, hopefully now's the time to do it. But has anyone heard rumors? I mean, we're in Connecticut. I don't know what the geography is, and maybe Timmy, because you're in Georgia, but I mean, Craigie, you're in Ohio, so we get your weather a day or two later. They're saying snow on Halloween again. Now we had that. I believe it was 2011 or 12. They actually canceled Halloween for 2 days because we had literally 4 inches of snow. They said the nor'easter we had last night with all this rain would have equated to 30 inches of snow. So I'm glad it was rain, and I'm glad it was wind-driven rain. Yeah, where are you, Bob? Are you Ohio as well? I'm trying to think, or PA. But yeah, I know Craigie's over Akron area, somewhere like that. So we always get with frost. Oh, see, we only had one little bout of frost, but it was more on like the windshields and not Arkansas. Oh, so you're southern, yeah. Yeah, well, yesterday it came up. Whatever we had yesterday came up. They called it a nor'easter, but it was more like a southeaster because it came up. And then today it just kept circling us. It was just massive wind today. And for some reason, the trees, they're holding out. I mean, even though leaves have changed color, they're holding out. Granted, it's only middle of October, but with all the wind we had, the trees were sideways and they're still holding the leaves. So we'll see what happens. But I just got a notice. One of the guys I watch is going on. If you guys are interested in heavy equipment and like backhoes and things like that, this guy Let's Dig 18. Check him out. He's got some really, really cool videos about excavations and stuff like that. So Let's Dig 18. Nice guy. Down, I think he's down in Georgia somewhere. Maybe he's down by Tim. What else? I bought one of these LED lights. I think, Craig, you have something similar. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it here. I keep seeing these lights. Walt has one. I think Craig has one. Let me see if I can get the twist tie off it. Let's see. Hold on. There we go. I bought one of these things. You get them at the flea markets and stuff. And what's cool about it, you got 1, 2, 3 different brightnesses. And it's pretty cool. So even though I have good light on my workbench, they were selling these things for $9.99. So you can't beat it. Yeah, I know Walter has one, Craig. What do you use for a spotlight? You use like a headlight or something? What do you use, Craig, for lighting? Or you just have your overhead lights? I have a decent LED. That's what's shining on me now, just one LED. And I've got 5 or 6 more around the shop. If I put them on now, it'll blind you because the camera picks up on all of it. But I do have good lighting in my shop. What I'd like to get, though, at work, we have the lit magnifier glasses where you fold them up and fold them down. They're actually magnified with LEDs. I tell you, they work phenomenal. A handheld flashlight, yeah. I've got a bunch of those too, especially with the rare earth magnets in them, so you can stick them anywhere. LED, I mean, that's the way it is now. Everything's LED. I think my whole house, except for 1 or 2 bulbs, is LED now. But what did you have to get for that blower, Craig? Well, I think you got your bearings were trashed. That was what was causing the problem. Are you doing rings on it too? A set of Caber rings or what? I know the bearing was trashed because the retainer was destroyed. But what else are you doing on that thing? I think you said maybe a piston and rings too. But I'm looking forward to that because I have the exact same blower, except mine isn't the SH, it's the BG, like Matty redid. Knock wood, it's still running good. But let's see. Hey, I want to get your guys' opinion. I love my Yeti. I use a Yeti for coffee. And a friend of mine, what did he buy? It was like a small Yeti cooler. And he swears by it. He says it keeps his lunch and everything like ice cold. I just didn't know if anyone had any experience with Yeti coolers. I love their cups. I mean, they work great for the coffee. The only thing I don't like about the cups is that plastic magnetic lid they put on it. Over time, it doesn't seal good. It'll actually leak if you go over a bump. Crank bearing, seals. Okay, seals. I forgot about seals. Yep, seals, rings. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, rain yesterday. Bob, we had a wicked storm that came through Thursday around 5:30 at night, and it lasted till about 4 or 5 this morning. Wednesday night, and it lasted till about 5 o'clock in the morning. But then all day, wind. The trees were sideways. School was canceled in some areas, 2-hour delay in others because of trees and power lines down. So it was kind of a frantic day for the town, the cops anyway. The good thing was my buddy who owns a power equipment store up the road sold about 50 chainsaws today, because when the towns get crazy and there's stuff to be taken down, they'll just go in there and say, give me 5 of what you got. So it was pretty good. He gets to sell some of the smaller, like MS, the 210s and 230s, 250s, the smaller ones, because they're just trying to do trouble work, taking branches and things like that. So good for the small engine shops around the Steel and Husky and Echo dealers. They sold a lot of equipment today. One of my customers, I was in his shed and I saw a leaf blower, giant vac, the old standard that everybody has, 11 horse Briggs. He says it smokes a little. I think I can get it off him for about $150. So, which I think would be a good deal. It's a good sized blower, but 11 horse Briggs, which is a lot of power. Usually they're 8 horse. This one's definitely 11. The standard white Briggs shroud, IC motor, but 11 horse. You don't see too many 11s, but this guy is not really good for maintenance and not even changing oil. I'm sure it's like crude in there, so I'll have to do it. But I figure, what's a set of rings and a head gasket? That's probably $20. So I'll try that. That'll be a project. This is the time of year too. You'll probably get $400 or $500 for it when it's done. Around here, people called me today asking me if I had used leaf blowers because the trees were blowing. Even though the leaves aren't ready to come down yet, it took a lot of them down because the branches came down. Yeah, that's true. Coolers for beer. That's true. But the Yeti, whatever that design is, where they vacuum the chamber in between the walls, it's pretty cool. Corksicle cups. Oh, okay. What has it got? Cork around it so it seals it when you close the lid. That's the only thing I don't like about my Yeti. It's got a sliding plastic opening with a rare earth magnet in it, to click on off, and it does not do it. New part. Amazon, Maddie, or did you go HL? Oh, what, does HL even sell that stuff? I'm just wondering. I know HL does all the offshore stuff. Are they actually? E-Replace. Oh, okay. I've had luck with them. I like E-Replacement. E-Replacement's good. I got their decal here somewhere. Wait a minute. E-Replacement. Anyway, good vendor. Usually pretty fast, PayPal. Oh, that reminds me. I got some money on my PayPal that someone gave me. I got to use it. Yeah, that's what I like about them. They show stock. So like I said, I've loved Jack's for years. I've been using Jack for 20 years, but I had an order of MTD parts from Jack, and I tell you, over a year, and there were still back ordered parts, and the guy needed his snow machine. I finally said, the hell with it. I made the bushings myself on a lathe. I did it myself. I said, the hell with it. HF stainless coffee mug. How'd you get that? Oh, Harbor Freight, you mean? I thought you meant HL. Yeah, Harbor Freight. Is it like the Yeti where it's got the vacuum in between so it keeps it warm? Yeah, all right. I guess, everybody's copying them now. I mean, I guess Yeti, brand. I bought mine years ago when it was the thing to have, brand recognition, all that stuff. But yeah, pretty sure even the ones you see at Walmart nowadays are probably just as good, But yeah, that's cool. What do you do, man? You just keep. Oh wait, I would say I have money on PayPal because a guy who had a PayPal account wanted to give me something for something I gave to him, and he sold it, made money. So he put money into PayPal, but I'm used to using PayPal like it's a credit card, and then they just charge your MasterCard, Visa, whatever. But now that I got this money on it, I got to use it. So I got to go in there and see what I need, But I'm all ready just to prove to you guys that I'm ready for the 257. I've got the kit for the seals and all that, so I am ready. And I did buy a set of Caber rings for it. Not that it needs it, but the main thing was the seals. You would tilt the thing. Craigie, you and I have done that a million times where you tilt it in the 4 directions, and when it starts to stall or raise or lower, the seals are bad. But tomorrow I'll have that apart, and I'll do a video on checking the leaks and everything, the vacuum and pressure tests and all that stuff. I can check the bearings to make sure the retainers are good, make sure they're not plastic, and make sure they don't rock or crunchy or anything like that. But this guy here, he's been really good with the saw. It's got some carbon scoring in it, nothing really major, but a little bit of carbon scoring. But we'll see. I mean, bearings aren't expensive. It's just that I think I would have to pull it apart, though. No, Maddie, I'd have to pull the case apart to do that. So, Dick's Sporting Goods. Yeah. We got a lot of guys around that don't like Dick's because of the NRA and gun laws and all that crap they're doing, but that's another thing. Yes, I do have your toolkit. I haven't used it yet, but I've had it for almost a year now. So anyway, yeah, and I have all the gaskets and everything. So really, I think I have them. Do you know what's in that one, Matt? I've got 6203, 6202s. I've got a bunch of each of those. I've got a bunch. Yeah, I've got some of those. Yep. So, yeah, actually, I stocked up. I was at the bearing supply house a couple months ago, and I told them 203s and 202s, and I think I bought a dozen of each. Gave me a good deal, like $2 each or something for NSKs and SKFs, because he just had so much stock. He figured, plus the company I work for, we buy a lot of stuff from the bearing place anyway, so no big deal. In fact, I'm not even gonna say it, but I have access to a lot of stuff. Anyway, What's the one that's got the funky one? Is it the 346 XP? Which is the one that has the bearing that you only get from Husky? What saw is that, Maddie? Is that a 372 or is it a 394? I know you talked about one that had a special step. It is the XP. Okay. All right. And there's definitely no way, right? It's definitely something that it's got what is it, a stepped, is it a step in it? And that's why it's like that, a shoulder or something? Because I'm trying to think if there's any way, because like I said, I was in the bearing industry for years, and I know a lot of people in the bearing industry. I'm just wondering if I could find out and see if there's any kind of magic number I can cross it to. Because International Harvester did the same thing on bearings for tractors, for PTOs and things like that. Proprietary seal. Huh. Is it a special housing they make? Anyone got a picture of it? I wonder if there a part number. I wonder if it's a special housing that the bearing and the seal get pressed into this housing, and they sell it to you as an assembly, and that's why there's such an extreme cost. Because the parts don't cost that much. Yeah, snap a shot or something, or text me or whatever. I'd like to see it. Hey, you tell me when, Maddie. I'm off tomorrow all day. You got to work though. But I'm off tomorrow. I'm off next Monday. I got to take my daughter up to the doctor. But if you're still off on Wednesdays, Maddie, let me know, and we'll plan a day. Work till 2. Yeah, but then I come up there and I'm going to hit all that traffic. We'll see though. Maybe. Who knows? You never know, Maddie. Possibility, Matt. Possibility. Possibility. That would make a nice video. Seal is in the outer race. The inner race is a tad longer. Yeah, because I know when you buy bearings, there's unsealed, there's shields, and there's seals. And usually shields and seals are basically aluminum discs that go in there. And usually there's a paper that I used to make these parts called Flex Seals. And it's actually a paper that acts as just a dirt deterrent they call them Flex Seals, okay, or shields. Then if you want to get it sealed, there's a metal with rubber around it seal that gets pushed into that same OD or ID groove of the bearing. But usually when people have those, I guess my question is on that bearing, there's no other external seal. So you have to use the seal that comes in that bearing, or else you have no seal on that end. Am I right? Okay, that could be. Yeah. I'm just curious because I'm always looking for something that, if there's a way to use a standard bearing and make a seal retainer or some type of piece that can go in there as well to capture a standard CR seal, maybe that's a way to get out of it. I'd like to see a picture of one, or give me got a part number, because I'll definitely look it up and see, because I'm always up for a challenge, something on the lathe. And yeah, I know. Well, what's the bearing cost? $40, I think it is. Is that what you said? About $45 for the bearing. I mean, 45 versus 10, but I got to see about tomorrow though, because I was supposed to take my kid to the doctor tomorrow, but they canceled it till Monday. So actually tomorrow's free. So I may take you up on that, Maddie. Who wants to see me and Maddie do a dual build? I'll have to bring my own coffee cup though. So we'll see. I'll bring my Yeti with fresh coffee. Anywho, actually, I could bring you the drum and the other thing. I think I still have the HL Supplies seal installer somewhere that you gave me to try. Somewhere, I got everything. It's somewhere. Everything's somewhere. But oh boy, I'll text you tomorrow, Matt. Let me see what the day looks like, what the weather looks like. But maybe I may bring it up. Because yeah, maybe see what happens. All right, what else is going on, guys? Anything? Otherwise, I'm gonna hit it. It's over 34 minutes. You got anything going on tonight, Matt, on the line, or no? You still waiting on parts on any of the saws, or what do you got cranking? 50325. Okay, I'll look it up. I will definitely look it up. But if no one has anything else, I'll say adieu for tonight. And Maddie, I will definitely talk to you tomorrow. I'll text you, and if it looks good, hey, maybe we'll do a guest spot at the Doc's house. We'll see what goes on tomorrow. All right, guys, that's it for me. Thanks for chiming in. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. I still got the 1,000 subscriber challenge. Nobody's subscribing. I still have 127. So we'll see what's going on. Craigie, Matt, Timmy, everyone else that's on here, Bandsaw, everybody, thank you for joining, and we will catch you soon. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Be safe.